Mechanical monsters roam the Iron Valley. To bring honor to your king, you must send out heroes from your faction in order to bring back enigmatic artifacts and deadly monsters. If you do this well, then the legends will go down with you being known as the Boldest. Hey guys, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're reviewing The Boldest from designer Sophia Wagner, and it's being published by Stronghold Games.
The Boldest is a 2 to 5 player hand management card game that takes about 30 to 60 minutes to play. Let's jump in and take a look at those components.
To set up the game, place the board on the table with a side up based on your player count. Place the king's tent below the board and give each player a screen, planning table, and a hamlet.
Each player chooses a faction and receives their flag, 2 random starting items in front of their screen, and a starting deck of heroes go on their dormitory.
Fill the camp with the first deck of adventurers. Fill the forest with the forest cards for your player count.
Faction flags are randomly laid out next to the king's tent. The faction with the flag closest goes first, and the other players receive a starting bonus artifact.
The fire in the camp is lit, and then you're ready to begin.
Each round, players will simultaneously assign heroes to the 3 spots on their planning table. Each group must match in class with the exception of pets, which can go with any group.
Any cards not chosen for the expedition will go back to the dorms for today, and once all players have made their decisions, they will remove their screens and reveal the first group.
Players count the strength of their group, including any bonus strength on their top leader card, and they compare it to the other groups of the same class.
The player with the strongest warrior group will take its expedition first into the forest, then the technicians, and then the hunters.
Each class collects different cards from the forest. For example, a technician may take 1 blue artifact or 1 purple item, but only the bottommost card from the column. The leader of the group is discarded after using any possible bonus actions, and the rest are sent to celebrate in the party tent.
Cooks head to camp instead to recruit 3 new adventurers, and then the entire group heads back to the dorm.
Once all 3 expeditions have been completed, the fire goes out for the day and the board is reset.
Play resumes the next day with only the adventurers who were waiting in the dorms heading out for the day, while the heroes in the party tent head to the dorms to rest.
The game ends after all the fires have been lit, victory points are tallied, and the player with the most points wins. We've had a really good time with The Boldest. It's a really unique type of game, I think. You've got that player shield, which kind of gives you allows you to do some like pre-programming for your turn, but you've got this really nice balance of like how many cards from my hand do I play, and what am I going to try to get next time, and what is out on the board that's attractive to me. A lot of really cool things going on with The Boldest.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of thinking behind the scenes of, all right, there are only so many of these cards out that I'm available to get with the warrior or the technician. They can only choose from the bottommost level of that column. And so thinking like, oh, I know Will has warriors left because he only played 1 last time, so he's probably going to pull a lot of those out. He's going to grab that 10-pointer card. So I'm going to need to do something on my next plan out, like what I'm going to do that I can get the most things. Like thinking what the other players are going to be playing is a little bit of the thinkiness behind this one.
Yeah, you've got 4 different types of cards in your hand, basically, and you're trying to stack those up in order to be the most efficient based on what is available to you on the board. And if you can count what other people have done, then that makes a huge difference as well. When you play a 1 or 2 player game, it's basically just you versus the other, and whoever wins, if you both put warriors out at the same time, whoever has the most warriors is the one who's going to get to take that warrior action. When you have a higher player count, then I think at least with 3 players, then 2 of you get to go, and then so if you're the third guy who didn't dedicate enough cards to it, you may be empty-handed, sending your guys back to the dormitory so that you can play with them the next time.
Yeah, the 4 and 5 player game is a little different in that more groups will go out. There'll be 2 from each group. But that being said, I think there's still a lot of trying to figure out what you can try and get based on the cards out on the table. And then if you were very successful that previous round, you're not going to have any adventurers left, or very few, if you hadn't planned ahead for that. There is also the bonus of if you did not get to go out on the expedition, you do get to draw an adventurer from the deck and add to your hand, and that goes to the dormitory. So next round you will be ready with some more adventurers to send out.
Yeah, and using those cooks kind of early in the game to recruit some additional cards into your hand is really powerful. A lot of those guys that you're going to recruit have really cool powers that may allow you to take 2 different cards from a column or to have extra bonus strength when you're going out to attack. The only bad thing is you do lose those guys sometimes if you use them once back to the deck, when you remove the top hero from each section. But a lot of times you can kind of stack those and hide them in the deck, so when you do have to remove that first card, it's just one of your average Joes. It kind of depends on, again, evaluating what's out on the board and available for you to add to your collection.
Yeah, one thing we didn't mention was that leader does get discarded. But then the last round changes things up. And we didn't mention this, but the very last round of the game, that last day, cooks now count as warriors. And so you may have all 5 of your cooks that you started with all ready to go as warriors, and you can lead a pretty successful mission on that last turn.
And recruiting pets and using pets as well. They can't be the leader, they can't be the top card in your deck, but you could have your 5 warriors plus a bunch of pets. Now you've got a really powerful hand to go out there with in order to recruit cards. We also can't talk about the game without talking about really how fantastic the artwork for this game is. I really, really like the scheme that they used. It's a very muted color palette, but they've got lots of really cool symbols for each group, and everybody's really well illustrated. I love the style that they used. Those cooks look like innocent cooks holding pots and pans, and then until you realize that they have a ginormous knife on their back, and then you're like, yeah, that guy should be a warrior.
One thing we didn't mention as well is the the monsters that you have to defeat with certain of those factions. Many of them have an item that you need to be able to defeat them. And so planning that ahead as well, I would love to go for this high power card, but I don't have that exact symbol needed from those item cards that you leave out in front of your screen. And other people can kind of pick up on that as well. They don't have that unless they have gotten, they have a secret adventure that may have that symbol on the bottom of their card. They're not going to be able to defeat that one either. So if I have the right thing, I should probably go for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on in this game, and I don't really know how well you can even explain it in a video like this. You kind of have to play it. I do want to say, though, that I feel like it has the perfect balance, because some games have so much to look at on the table that you just fall into the AP mode and you're like, I just don't know what to do. I feel like this game has a really good, at least for me personally, I don't know about everybody else in the world, but I feel like I can look at everything that's out there and absorb which cards I should go for. I can look at which resources they have that they could dedicate. I can remember what they've played in the previous round with a smaller player count, and I feel like this is just right at that perfect level where it's the weight that I want it to be. It's not overwhelming, it's not crazy. As soon as you understand the basic principles, it's got a really, really good feel to it.
Yeah, it says if this sounds like something you're interested in, you can check out The Boldest from Stronghold Games. It'll be coming to retail in March 2019. And then be sure to check out our other videos and say hi to us on Facebook from Team.
Facebook is cool too. Go there. That's fine. We have a Facebook page. Did you know we have a podcast?
Reviewing The Boldest from designer Sophia Wagner. I almost said Max Prentice. That's the artist. Designer
Well, recruit new people. I really wanted to end it a second ago. I just want to end with, and you will be the boldest. Action out in order to bring back enigmatic. What's the last part of that? Artifacts. Into the valley to retrieve enigmatic artifacts. It's a hard word to say.